What is revision and how to revise? Welcome to this video. In my opinion, one of the most important videos you will ever watch. Revision means that you go back to a situation that caused you harm in some kind of way. First of all, when you're constantly confronted with a pattern in your life and the same thing happens over and over and over again, you try to find a red thread. For example, you constantly attract people, romantic partners, that are not emotionally available. Then you see, okay, who was not emotionally available? Maybe it was even friendships. Maybe it started with your parents and it was that person before that person now, and then that person. There's this red thread. Then you would write down all the situations where you felt neglected, all of them. And I know it can be a lot. You know, when I did that, I think it was something about 30 to 40 situations where I felt neglected. In we're not talking about job in this scenario. We're talking about personal context. So, and have you been neglected by family members, by your parents, by friends, by potential spouses or spouses? And then you try to put this into the right order. You know, you start with the earliest one and then you literally rewrite that situation. Let's say, for example, yeah, your mother was not emotionally available. She was not very warm-hearted, or she didn't have a lot of time for you. And then you would attract people who show you that pattern by not being there for you in that way. Your job is to find that programming that most likely happened in childhood. And let's say you fell. You wanted your mom to hug you. You said, oh, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to kiss you, boo-boo. And she was like, oh, come on. I don't have time for this right now. Then you would use that specific situation and you would rewrite it like the way you would have wanted it to. But you don't write it like, oh, I wish you would have. You write like, it is happening right now, or it did happen in the past, like it was real. And then you, for example, your mom was like, oh, honey, did you fall down? Oh, come, let me give you a hug, you know? And you do that with all of these situations. Now, first of all, you would take that paper and you would sit down and you would read it over and over and over and over and over again, or you would record it and listen to it over and over and over it again. If it's like a deep-rooted trauma, like let's say some kind of abuse, it may take a while. If it's just like a tiny situation, like I just explained, because often it is small things that piled on, then maybe it takes like 15 minutes of constantly reading it till you try to imagine that situation again, and your new memory is the first one that pops into your mind. You know, we're not trying to tell your conscious mind that's not what happened. We're trying to tell your subconscious mind, I wasn't neglected. And so that way you would delete the programming of neglect, but that only works if you do all of these situations you remember. And again, you start with the earliest one. If you later on remember one, then it's okay to call back, of course. That way you delete the program of I am being neglected. Once you reach the last person who neglected you and you change that situation as well, then you no longer have the program of neglect in you, because in your new memory, people always loved you. You were always adorable and everybody wanted to be your friend. Everybody was good for you, was good to you, I meant. And then in that situation, once you have installed that program by constant repetition, and of course at the same time you work on self-love. You didn't have those memories before, but now you have those memories. If you're the person who is always the best, number one, you cannot do one without the other, because you have to get into this energy of course I'm worthy of being loved. And then you deleted the old programming, and then you will attract people who show you that you are amazing, because your person who is you pushed out, I have a video, everyone is you pushed out, will all of a sudden not neglect you anymore. They will show you that you are amazing, because you are, because that's what you remember, right? Even your mom always took her time for you when you were amazing. You always got told you were amazing, because you have memories now. Why would you attract somebody who neglects you? It doesn't make any sense to the universe. So the universe will not give you people who attract you, because in your new program, people love you. So that is what you will attract soon. And you can do the same thing with money. You know, you write all of these situations where you thought, oh, I don't have enough money, and you change them and you had enough money to pay that bill. And then you delete the program of lack, like I'm the person who always has money. And then once you believe that, that is what you, of course, attract. So revision can be something that you write it down, you script it, and then you read it over and over and over again. If you're very good in visualization, or you can get into a trance state, then of course you can visualize it. If you cannot visualize, then the reading would be more important. You can do both. You can read and visualize at the same time. You can record it and then visualize it, or just listen to it, and maybe you can record it and have some, for me, drums work. Drums often get me into the state of a trance, and you have like slow drum music, like tribal drum music, and get into this hypnotic state, and then you listen to your recording over and over about your new memory. So revision is basically you take a memory that harmed you and you kind of get another memory on top of that, and then you install a new belief about yourself and also about other people, of course. Because if your mom was always good to you, you have another belief. That does not mean, by the way, that you say, yeah, but my mom, she was not a good person, that now you have to invite her back into your life. You don't have to do anything. It is for you. It's you give yourself new memories in order to get into a new energy, in order to attract new things. Because as long as you hold on to old beliefs, of course you will attract the same thing over and over again. There's no other way in attracting something else when you still got the same belief. It's not possible. So you have to change to attract something else. And you do that by changing your memories, your subconscious beliefs, and stick to the mental diet here, of course, as well. And you need to remember, a belief is a thought you thought many times. So you have to think your new memory many times as well in order to override it, so it can become a belief. So it can only become a belief through constant repetition. If it's a tiny thing, then one situation where you sit down and work through it may be enough, and then you go on to the next. But keep your papers, because maybe you will have to go back and again if it's deeper rooted, because then you need this constant repetition to form a new belief. But once it is a belief, then it will get pushed out, and the universe shows you that. Another thing is, let's say you're having a conversation like right now, and your person, I'm just taking this as an example, said, yeah, I think we should just be friends. Then what you can do is you imagine them saying, I chose you. Remember, your conscious mind will know, okay, it's not really that they said that, so you won't hug them and kiss them and be like, oh my God, I'm so glad you chose me. But you have just repeat to your subconscious, no, they chose me, of course, he loves me so much. And when you do that right away, or at least before you go to sleep, because when we fall asleep, we are in this theta phase, and many people make the mistake of thinking about the negative stuff right before they fall asleep, and then just imprinting it even stronger. If you can't do it in this situation, then later on when you're alone, you change the situation, the conversation in your head like you would have wanted it to be, or you do it on the spot. That does not mean that your person will be in this instant, you know what, I changed my mind, I do want you. No, because it's not your belief yet. It is still your old fears, your old shadows that are getting shown to you. But when you stay persistent and you do the work, then later on your person will have to show you, yeah, of course you're the only one for me. That thing about that I said, I just want to be friends. Yeah, not true. I want to be a couple with you. Or let's say you get a bill and you're like, oh my God, I can't pay this. And then you're like, I'm so glad that I have enough money. Money is always coming in, and I already got this money coming in. Maybe not be on my bank account today, but I know I got this big money coming in, so it's no problem. I can pay that bill right now, so you rise it on the spot. That is a thing you can do, but in a moment you are confronted with it, or you do it, if not on the spot, then at least the same day. Or a couple days later, as soon as you remember. But if you remember to do it that day, that would be best, because then you won't think. Because imagine, again, if you think something repetitively, it will become a belief. So if this person said, I don't want you, and then you worry about that all the time, that it does form into a belief, and then it takes longer to clear that. So the faster you do it, the less chance or time you give that what you heard to turn into a belief. So it would be easier then. But you can change childhood memories with this technique, and even traumatic ones. It just takes a little bit longer to do that, but absolutely possible. So revision, again, is you delete old programs by putting a new program on top, and then that new program will manifest in the future. If this helped, please help me by liking, subscribing, leaving your comments below. All of that will do something to the algorithm. If this helped you a lot and you want to leave a little tip, there is my PayPal address in the description box below, as well as my contact information and a link to my price list if you are interested in personal coaching. If you are, I'm happy to see you there. If not, I see you in another video hopefully, and I wish you all the best now. Bye bye.